So right now, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time for our featured speaker. And Fritz is looking at me. He's like, yeah, we need to get down to business here.
I almost didn't make
We have a tradition. Okay, I'm trying not to crack up. We have a tradition here at the GNA where our featured speakers have to go all the way to the back. So Carol and Rachel, you stand up and go all the way to the back. So that way you can make that grand entrance.
Well, here at San Bruno, it's known as the side.
Okay. So, Carol, actually I met Carol, I believe, here in San Bruno, Eric. That's when she first attended the GNA meeting. It was about a month and a half ago or so. We met her, really outgoing, really nice lady, and then we found out what she does. And I remember we had a Facebook event page here where we had some bandwidth issues because some people were checking out the OneTaste website that tells you more about what they do.
Paul.
But great lady, she invited her. Yeah. Okay, you done? She invited her friend Rachel Sherwitz a couple weeks later to our San Jose event. I got a chance to meet her, and then I was like, you know what? We can have a really interesting presentation at GNA and try to get some more people in San Bruno and also educate them on something they need a lot of help with. So I asked them, hey, would you like to do a presentation? We even asked the entire group weeks beforehand, we want to know, are you folks open-minded enough? Would you like to hear this topic? And there was an overwhelming response, right, Fritz?
Yeah.
You were fired up, weren't you?
I was a cheerleader.
Paul? Yeah. But Don, you've been looking forward to this, right?
No.
Okay, so that I wrote down an intro here from our Facebook event page. So here it goes, and it will come on out. Rachel Sherwitz and Carol Wolfencandle are consultants for OneTaste. They teach people how to pay more attention to what they want, learn to ask for it, and then learn to be there for it. This is what the slow sex movement is all about, and that's what OneTaste helps their clients with. This presentation will tremendously help keep the fire burning in your relationships with your significant other. When you learn how to maintain your partner's happiness, it plays a huge role in your business and allows you to focus more clearly on other areas you need to move ahead in your life. Very important, right? So on that note, I want y'all to rise to your feet. Come on, rise to your feet. Do a big chorus. Welcome to Rachel Sherwitz and Carol Wolfencandle. I'm going to give you my hug here. It's all yours. Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good. I'm Rachel Sherwitz, as Elias said, and
I'm Carol Kendall.
and we work for an organization called OneTaste. And the mission of OneTaste is to bring orgasm back into the world conversation, and back into our bodies. So I'm going to do something before we actually start, which is I want to get a feel for the room and a feel for each of you. Some of you I know, some of you I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw out a prompt. You can pass. Pass is always an acceptable answer, and it's just a way that Carol and I can get a feel for you. Is there a way we can lower that shade?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. So the prompt is to say your name and how you're feeling right now. I'm going to start with Eli so that you understand what I mean.
Eli, and I'm feeling a little giggly, a little like a bright.
Thank you.
Sean, and I'm feeling full.
I'm Joe, I'm feeling great.
Ron?
I'm Ron, and I'm feeling excited.
Thank you.
I'm Elias, and I feel awesome all the time.
In the back?
Paul, I'm feeling good.
Thank you.
I'm Madon, I'm feeling good.
I'm Angie, and I'm feeling excited.
I'm David, feeling good.
I'm Christy, I'm feeling eager.
I feel that.
I'm Daniel, and I'm happy about that meeting.
I'm Sandy, and I'm feeling very intrigued.
Mike, I'm feeling
Oh, intrigued.
possibilities.
I'm Fritz, and I'm feeling open-minded too.
Yeah.
I'm Sharon, and
I'm Jared, and I'm hungry.
Rosalinda, and I'm feeling excited.
I'm Carol, and I'm feeling inspired.
So I'm gonna ask you one more question. And before I do it, I want to preface this by saying that part of what we do at OneTaste is create a clean, well-lighted place for people to have a relevant and intelligent conversation about orgasm. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you what I mean when I'm talking about orgasm. Okay, and orgasm is a pretty charged word. There's a lot of connotation that comes along with it, and so we use that word specifically because inside of orgasm is sexuality is included, your relationships are included, your body image is included, your health is included, your business is included. It's all encompassed inside of that word, and we all come with baggage, positive or negative, with the word orgasm. So we're going to do the same exercise, and I'm going to give you a slightly different prompt. And the prompt is, I say orgasm, you say...
A path. Orgasm rocks.
Excitement.
Exciting.
Energy.
Pleasure.
Oh my God, I'm divine.
Yes!
Wow.
You don't stop.
Oh, me. Gosh, now you ask me questions and I'm really honest. As often as possible.
Peaceful. Satisfaction.
Excitement.
Maximize.
Sure. She's smiling.
Rejuvenating. Excellent. So, orgasm is all of those things. Okay? So, most of us know orgasm by a masculine model that came about in the 1950s. Masters and Johnson did a series of experiments to find out what orgasm was, what it looked like, and how to experience it. And it was based on a masculine model. Now, I'm going to use two words today, and so I want to redefine what I mean when I'm saying that. Masculine and feminine. And masculine and feminine doesn't mean male, female, and it doesn't mean man, woman. Okay? Masculine orgasm you can think of like a mountain. You go up, 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 up. The sensation is increasing, right? The pleasure in your body is increasing. All of a sudden you hit the top of what's called a peak. There's a release, and you drop over a really sharp edge. Then the experience is over. Does everyone know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That is not what we mean when we're talking about orgasm. And that model of orgasm is what we needed. It was the foundation that we needed to be able to usher in a redefinition of it. And what we're talking about is a feminine experience of orgasm. A feminine orgasm is like a meandering walk through the park in a series of peaks and valleys. So you go up, it may peak a little, you'll dip down a little bit, might peak again, you'll go up, then you might be up for a period of time, and then it'll peak, and then you'll come down, then you might meander. You might just be lost and not going anywhere for a period of time, and then it comes down again, and so on and so forth. When we're talking about orgasm, we're talking about orgasm in connection. So I'm not talking about orgasm that's done at home, in the dark, by yourself, while you're masturbating and watching porn, though that's totally fine if that's what turns you on. I'm talking about orgasm that actually happens in connection. You, the sensation in your body, your partner, and I don't necessarily mean your romantic partner, the sensation in his or her body and the connection that exists between the two of you. When that happens, your involuntary musculature, which is connected to your autonomic nervous system, gets ignited. Okay, so there's physical signs of orgasm you can see. And I'm going to tell you what they are, and then I want you to start to look at the people sitting around you.
Very interactive, huh? Yeah.
So one of the signs of orgasm is engorgement of erectile tissue. Your genitals, your nipples, your lips, and under your eyes. So if you're experiencing a swelling in any of those parts in your body, that is a sign of orgasm. The second is flushing. In your face, in your neck, in your chest. Some people can get it in their arms and in their thighs. Women often get what's called an orgasm mask. So they get rosy cheeks, full lips, and dark eyes. So imagine all of the money that we spend yearly on makeup, you can actually get that effect from orgasm. Temperature changes, hot or cold, and you can experience it's like a filmy stickiness on your body, like sweat. It's a filmy layer that you get. Pupil dilation, breathing changes, and stomach gurgling are all signs of orgasm. So now what I want you to do is take a minute and I want you to look at the people around you. And I'm actually going to ask you to do this without talking. Something else, which is to suspend disbelief. The belief that orgasm can only happen in the bedroom, in the dark, under the covers. Because right now, in this moment, you guys are sitting in orgasm. Orgasm is that feeling of your body being turned on. And I don't just mean sexually turned on, I mean that part of you that wakes up in the morning and has that electricity, that vibrancy, that bubbly effervescence, the heat, the swelling that's in your body that actually propels you forward to do whatever it is that you want to do in the world. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, we live in a pleasure-deprived, touch-dehydrated culture. Actually, I would even go further to say that we live in a fast food nation, right? Twitter in my mind, don't get me wrong, I love Twitter and I tweet incessantly, but Twitter in my mind is the epitome of this in our culture, which is, can you say something really profound in 140 characters or less, right? And that has affected our sex life, which in return has affected our relationships, which affects our health, which also affects our business. So you have an opportunity today, if you choose, and you always have choice, and no is always an appropriate answer, to actually put orgasm back on the to-do list. My opinion is that if you have the health of your orgasm vibrant and nourished and sustainable, the rest of your life changes. And so there's this way, especially in our economy, that we're striving, like we're striving to make money and we're striving to be successful and we're networking and we want to set one-on-ones with people, and there's this efforting that happens. My experience is, to the extent that my orgasm is taken care of, everything else is effortless. Because I'm full. And in order to be full, I had to make an admission that I was actually hungry. And the thing that I was hungry for was something more, and it wasn't the model of orgasm I had been given. Because I was one of those women that 5 years ago when I ended up at OneTaste, I said I'd never experienced orgasm before. And I had and I felt quite a bit in sex, and I enjoyed sex, and I had never experienced what I knew to be orgasm, which is what we're calling climax, which is where you slip over that edge. And by the way, I drove here from Dallas, Texas, totally on a whim because somebody told me about OneTaste, and I dropped a teacup, and as I went down to pick up the teacup, I had broken out in hives, and I thought, well, I should probably check out what they're doing. But I was going to save the world through treating drug addicts and alcoholics. That's what I was going to do. And then I found myself in this class in San Francisco, thinking that it was a sex class, and it was just going to make my sex life better, which was going to get my boyfriend off my back because he wanted to have sex a lot and I didn't. And it wasn't. It wasn't a sex class. And they were talking about something that totally and completely blew my mind, and they kept relating it back to the rest of my life, and they kept relating it back to if I would have put my orgasm first, that my work would be easier and my relationships would be better, and I'd be able to actually ask for what I want in every area of my life. And I thought they were nuts. And I'm somebody who likes to check things out for myself, which I'm going to offer to you, which is you don't have to believe anything that Carol and I say today, but you can check it out for yourself. You can try the practice of orgasmic meditation and you can actually see if it works. The best thing that'll happen if you try it is you dissolve that sense of impending loneliness and wonder if there's something more in your life. The worst thing you lose is 15 minutes. That's it.
And even if you don't do the practice of orgasmic meditation per se, we're going to give you a few tenets that are essential to this practice. And I'll just let you know what they are right off the bat. They are attention, simplicity, and desire. And with those three components, you can take that into your bedroom, or you can just use that in your life. With the way that you relate with people, with the way that you eat your food, with the way that you pretty much do anything, right? Do you want to do it? Do it. No. Do you want to jump off of that?
Yeah. Okay, so with attention, the first thing attention does is it has you pay attention to the sensation in your body. Okay, sensations are things you can feel. So think location, temperature, pressure, electricity, vibration, shape, and texture.
We actually have an exercise that we're going to do with all of you. I'm going to pass around grapes. You want to talk about it while I do that? So everybody just take one, and Rachel will let you know what to do with it.
So if you take a minute as you're taking a grape, and I want you to think about your day and all the things that you have to do in your day and all the things that you worry about, your to-do list, the phone calls, the follow-up, the laundry, picking the kids up if you have them, making dinner, cleaning the house, etc. All of that worry consumes what's called your ambient attention. Your ambient attention is when you're in the bedroom and you're having sex with your partner and that background tape is running. It's happening in the background. What happens in slow sex is you have the opportunity to slow down enough that those voices for a period of time can quiet down. When those voices quiet down, you have more free attention to focus on the sensation in your body and the connection that's happening with you and your partner. Does that make sense? So Carol's going to lead you through an exercise that's going to give you a taste of what's possible and what you can experience using the tenet of attention.
Okay, so everyone has a grape. You have to eat it. So basically, you're just going to want to put your full attention on that piece of fruit in your hand. So you're going to want to look at it, see the color and the texture, and look at the moisture on the skin, look at the size of it, you know, possibly feel the temperature in your hand. It feels a little cold, kind of wet. And then you're gonna actually, I don't think you can even smell this. Yeah, well, see if, you know, I'm not sure if it's organic, but if you have what you'll smell, but put it up to your nose and just take a little sniff and see if you can smell anything. And then put it on your tongue. And before you bite it, just feel the temperature of the grape just resting on your tongue and the weight of it. And actually, you can just like put it in your mouth. So just hold it. And feel it rolling around on your tongue. Feel it against your teeth. And then very slowly take a bite. And feel the juice. And notice the flavor on different parts of your tongue. Sweetness. And the texture, how it changed. And then you can swallow whenever you like. So notice, you know, how often in your everyday life do you eat your food that way? Do you actually look at the food and smell the food and notice the texture of it? You know, we live in a society where we're so unconscious. We don't bring that attention to many of the activities that we partake in. And if you took that level of attention and used it with each person that you relate with, just notice them. Notice the person standing in front of you. How do they feel? How do you feel in your body when they're engaging with you? How does their gaze feel? There's just an intense level of attention that we bring to this practice that we do called orgasm meditation. But like I said, you can really use this in every area of your life.
So we're going to move on to the second tenet, which is simplicity. And simplicity is stripping away all of the extra stuff that we carry with us into the bedroom. 90s, bearskin rugs, weekend getaways, Hallmark cards, candles, massage lotions, lingerie, romantic weekends. I mean, ad infinitum, we could add to this list. Simplicity allows you to strip down to the sensation that exists between you and your partner. That's it. So all of the ornateness that we're told we need to actually have a sensational experience, we don't. And that's not to say after the talk today, if you want to pick all that stuff up, you totally can. And it's a different way to begin to experience your life and to begin to experience your business. To really look at what are the things that you're carrying with you that you don't need to have. What is the potency of your message? And through the potency of your message, what do you need to do in order to bring that out into the world? So what I'm going to ask you to do is turn to the person sitting closest to you. I don't want you to turn and face them so that you're making eye contact. And if you don't have a partner, raise your hand. I'm going to ask you to do this without talking. Okay? So if you don't have a partner, raise your hand. Okay. So turn and face your chairs. You're sitting in chairs. You guys are fine in the hallway. So I said in the beginning that in redefining orgasm, it's orgasm in connection. And connection doesn't necessarily mean somebody you're in a romantic relationship with. So for the next 2 minutes, you are invited to experience intimacy with the person sitting next to you, to whatever level and whatever degree of belief. And I'm going to have you do it without talking. Okay? 95% of our communication is nonverbal. 5% of our communication is verbal, and that 5% we give an incredible amount of credence to. Okay? So turn and face your partner. And what you're going to do is, well, one, you're going to make eye contact with your partner and actually acknowledge that there's another human being sitting across from you. Good. And then I want both of you to take your hands up and put your palms across from each other like this, like me and Carol. Okay? And you want them close enough that you can feel the heat from your partner's hand, but far enough away that you're not actually touching. And I want you to maintain eye contact the entire time. And I want you to notice the sensations that you feel in your hands. Is it pulsating? Is it vibrating? Is there an increased amount of heat? Do your hands suddenly feel colder than they did? Is it electric? Is it quiet? And then very slowly, while maintaining eye contact, and I want you to pull it as far back as you can while still maintaining a connection. So as soon as you feel the connection stop pulling your hand back. The other thing I want you to notice is the impulse to smile, laugh, fidget, look away. Try to diffuse the amount of intimacy you may be feeling with the person sitting across from you. It can be incredibly confronting to acknowledge that we actually feel each other. And by feeling, I mean at a sensory level. Okay, go ahead and drop your hands. No. Okay. What did you notice? We'll do this popcorn style. We'll do this popcorn style so you can throw out into the room what you noticed from that exercise.
It was hard. It was like a magnet was keeping us together. But I felt something in her. It was really strange. Deep sadness. I don't know what it was about. But it was something really, really sad inside.
Thank you.
So it was hard to maintain the contact, the eye contact without like looking away for a minute and then breaking it. And then as we were like moving further away, it was really easy to get further away and still feel like a pull far away.
Thank you. Is there someone?
Yeah, I felt like a vortex of energy between the hands. It didn't matter how far I moved, I could still feel it. And I have learned to maintain eye contact with people because that's the best way to pay attention to them. That part was easy.
Let's get a few more.
I still felt the sense of connection surprisingly further back than I thought it was.
Thank you.
It was the connection through the eyes more than the hands for me.
Thank you.
It just seemed like a string. It didn't matter how far I went back. I felt like there was a string or something that was connecting the stuff.
Thank you. You just experienced orgasm.
Woo!
Yeah! Woo!
And it's something at any moment and in any experience you can access because you have it inside of you. So orgasm isn't something that you have to produce and you have to work hard for. It's actually located inside your body, and it truly is our birthright as human beings to have it as awake and alive as possible. Does that make sense? Okay. So the third component of slow sex is desire. So once you've stripped away everything extra, and you've paid attention to what you feel in your body, the third component, desire, pretty much takes care of itself. And Carol's going to talk a little bit about desire and what it is, and how you actually know that you're in relationship with it, and then she's going to lead you through an exercise.
Well, there's this word called Funktionslust. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. It's on, you can find it on Urban Dictionary. And it's a word that means being in your natural state. So birds flying, dolphins swimming, people sexing. You're typically, when you're in that place of effortless joy, you're in flow, you're in your Funktionslust. So the way to tell if you're there is if what you're doing feels good and natural to you. Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. And we're definitely proponents of that way. We live our lives that way. We live from a place of desire. We don't do things that we don't want to do. And, the funny thing is, everything else just seems to follow. The exercise, do you want to add something? Okay, so I want to get us to the exercise. This is actually a really fun one. So I would say pick a different partner. Pick a different partner. So if you're sitting with one person, move to a different table.
And you're going to do this without talking. Just
oh, yeah.
Raise your hand if you don't have a partner.
Another partner over there, Elon?
Here, do you guys here?
Okay, so the person with the longest hair, raise your hand.
I don't qualify for that.
Sorry, Elon.
It's all right.
Okay, so that person is going to be person A. And person A is going to start by asking person B, what do you desire? And person B is going to answer, I desire an ice cream sundae, or whatever your desire happens to be on any level at all. And then person B will say, thank you. What do you desire? Person A will say, thank you. Person B will answer yet again what they desire. And don't think too much, just kind of say whatever comes out. It can be rated G, it can be rated what mature audiences.
TVMA.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Whatever comes up unedited, nobody's going to tell your wife. Okay, so that was a weird thing to say.
That's all right. It's all good.
No holds barred here. We're just having fun. It's a game. It's a game. So just feel your desire, speak it. The other person says thank you and say the next one. Okay, so ready, go.
Oh, I got it.
What do you desire?
No.
Sorry, start with you.
What do you desire?
What do you desire?
What do you desire?
What do you desire? Thank you.
Sitting on a beach in the Bahamas.
Wow. Nice.
What do you desire? Thank you.
What do you desire?
Thank you.
Peace of mind.
Hey, Michael Hill, you're going to post those on Facebook later today, right? You bet, yeah. This has been one of the most interesting presentations I've ever seen.
Wow.
What do you desire?
What do you desire?
The cameraman has no one to share his desires with, and that's okay. We're self-sufficient.
Okay, stop. Alright, now we're gonna switch. So go the other way. Okay? So the person who was asking the question is gonna be answering them. So ready, go.
How the volume raises. People are getting excited.
So we're doing it wrong this time.
I think as a good host, I should provide some commentary during this segment.
I have a shoulder pain, chronic shoulder pain, and I wanted to
We've got some great people here at the GNA. Very diverse, very open-minded. That's what we stand for. We're open to helping anyone move their business forward. Anyone with ethics, values, morals.
Different side projects.
That's also kind and considerate. And also people that don't just come here to pitch their business and never come back. Besides that, we're here to help you. Hey ladies, are you going to have a Q&A segment for a few minutes? Oh yeah. Are you open to that?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Great. You're good. You can go up until 1 o'clock if you want. That's normally we end the meetings at 12:30, but we have informal from 12:30 to 1, but we can go into that because it's a special occasion. So you have until 1.
Okay, stop. Thank you. Thank your partner.
Thank you.
What did you guys notice about that exercise?
I want to know what you have for me.
I think it's great. Hey guys, can we have your attention back up here? So turn your chairs back around facing up here. Can you say more?
It was easy and fun to bring my list that I sort of put back there to the forefront, and it got me excited to want to do them.
Thank you. Anybody else?
We found we had a lot in common right away. There's some things that, it wasn't like we were repeating each other's answers, but we discovered a lot of things just on 1 or 2 word answers.
Good.
Same answer.
Same?
Yeah, we did it together, so same answer.
There would be a string of a few that felt like they were really in flow, and then there would be this like tender moment. I could feel it in my chest, and like a really tender one would come out.
Anybody else over here?
Difficult to avoid being mature topics.
Kind of feel like now it'd be easier to ask for whatever I want.
Great. Well, I'm glad that you said that because we're going to give you So we want you to go. We want you to pick 3 of those desires that you shared with your partner, and go home and tell someone what they are. It doesn't have to be home. You can go tell someone that you trust. 3 desires, and then what we want you to do is post about it on Facebook.
What about the GNA group page?
GNA group page.
Yeah.
That's where I want to see it.
Post them on your walls too. Yeah.
You guys agree to play that game?
Yeah.
Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you agree to play. Tell 3 of those desires. Good. All right. Good. So you want to?
Yeah. How many of you felt like there were moments where there was an awkward pause and you thought, I don't actually know what I want. I don't know what to say here.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Anyone? Can I actually just see a show of hands? Okay. And then I want you guys to look. Keep your hands up. I want you to look around and see how many people raise their hands. So here is the ironic thing about desire. Is if you say to most people, what do you want? They don't have any idea. And I had this happen about 8 years ago. I was in a restaurant and I ordered a hamburger. And the waitress said to me, do you want cheese on your hamburger? And I looked at her and I said, I don't know. And she looked at me, and then my friend looked at me, and then I looked at her, and I looked at my friend, and my friend was like, what do you mean you don't know? And I looked at the waitress, and I said, I don't know. I don't know if I want cheese on my hamburger. No, I don't want it. And then she brought the hamburger out and placed it down in front of me, and as she placed it down in front of me, I realized I did want cheese, and I wanted cheddar cheese melted, and I wanted the hamburger made medium rare, and I said it to her, and as I was saying it, I had this thought, I don't know whose voice that is, because so much of my life I had been like, oh, I don't know what I want, and I had followed things based on whether or not it felt good for me to do. But in an actual connected interaction with someone, I had no idea what to say. And the first 2 years that I was a practitioner of orgasmic meditation, my stroker, the person who stroked my genitals, would say to me, would you like a lighter stroke? And there would be this really awkward silence. And I wouldn't say anything, and then he would keep stroking and he would say, would you like more pressure? I don't know. I didn't know. I had no idea. So I went to talk to a friend of mine about it, and she said, well, why don't you, for the next 7 days, research saying yes to every request that she actually said any request that anybody makes of you, and she said, and if you don't feel comfortable doing that, just do it in the context of filming. So I'm tough, I like to do things. And I was like, all right, I will. And then people would say, would you bring me a glass of water? And I'd say yes, and I would do it. Or do you want to go to the movies? Yes. Do you want to listen to classical music? Yes. Do you want to have sex with me? Yeah, whatever it was yes. And then I realized a lot of what I was saying yes to, I didn't actually want to be doing. So I would leave the interaction feeling incredibly resentful. Anybody relate to what I'm saying? So then I did another assignment. I actually did this assignment for 30 days, which was I said no to everything. Any request anybody made, any question they asked me, the answer was always no. And what I found was I couldn't be a complete yes to my desire and what my desire wanted until I learned how to say no. And we live in a culture where we want to be good people. We want to be upstanding citizens, and we don't want people to be upset. And I'm going to be pretty bold to say that I think that has affected our sex life, which in return has affected our relationships. So the second assignment I'm going to give you is for today, and just for today. Okay, so from now until 10 o'clock tonight, so not even 24 hours, I want you to practice saying no. And when you say no, I want you to pay attention to how it feels in your body. Does your face flush? Do you feel your heart rate speed up? Is there that moment of panic where you want to be like, no, I'm sorry, I actually had to say yes? You know, where you want to like save the person from feeling what it's like to receive your no? And then I'm going to leave my business cards, and for those of you that want to email me and email Carol about what it was like, we'd actually love to hear about it. The reason I'm giving you the exercise is because our hope is that when you leave here today, you'll leave here today with three things. One is feeling more sensation in your body. So feeling more awake, more refreshed, more alive, and more vibrant than when you walked in the door. The second thing is to know that more is possible. That you can live your life exactly the way you want in any given circumstance, in your relationships, in your work, in your health, in your sex life. You can actually have your life exactly the way that you want it, and you can have the sex exactly the way that you want it. And that there's that voice in there now that says to you, more is possible. The third is that you learn how to say no powerfully so that you can learn to say yes in equal magnitude and in equal power. So that for the rest of your life, you're doing things that you want to do authentically, not because you feel like you should. Good? Okay. So I'm gonna wrap up this section, and then Carol and I will bring I'm actually gonna bring Eli. So Eli's in the back, and Eli is on senior faculty with us. He's on our sales team, and he coaches and he teaches, and he usually, when we do this sort of thing, is the voice of the men. Because there is that lingering question usually, what's in it for the men? So when we do the Q&A, I'm actually going to bring him up. So if you have some questions for him and what a man gets out of this practice, this kind of lifestyle, you can ask it to him directly. Good? So you're going to answer the question, I'm leaving here today with.
A sense of energy and power oozing out of me.
I'm getting here today with a new way of connecting with others.
Saying then getting more sensation.
Thank you.
Getting an understanding of my feelings.
New way of looking at approaching things that you want to do.
Thank you. In the back?
Sorry.
That's okay. Something you're leaving here today with.
Oh, what I'm thinking, it's so true what you said about yesterday, because in life, every time I was thankful in everything we do, automatically, we don't pay attention, we just automatically say yes, 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 and yes for it. Everything we see goes, thank you.
Just giving you more of an open mind, just being more aware of sensation, not feeling, not just kind of putting blinders on and just focusing on what I have to do, kind of taking it out of the mind.
Hi, I'm leaving here with a new awareness and perception of myself.
Thank you.
Thank you. New viewpoint on how to interact with others and why I deserve it.
I've always thought along the same lines that the separate parts of the life are interconnected. So I'm living with the reassurance that I'm not as fucked up as I thought.
Wow. Did you get that on film?
Okay. Amen.
I'm leaving here with a sense of gratitude for you guys for letting us come in here and give you a little bit of our time and a little bit of yours.
I'm leaving here with a whole new appreciation for the physical aspects of connection.
Elias?
I'm leaving here with more excitement and energy than I already had. Yeah.
It's an awareness, I guess, of what's surrounding you, and how you relate to other people, what you feel.
I'm leaving here with this reminder that there are no absolutes and continue to look inside the box no matter what it is.
I'm leaving here feeling a lot of confirmation.
I'm leaving here with a renewal sense of sensitivity to other people, which I was endowed with as a gift, and I shelled it off with anger and bitterness. So I'm feeling her, I'm feeling everybody in the room, so I'm reaching back out to that.
Can I say something to you directly? Which is, you have something that a lot of people spend their life cultivating. And the only harm that's ever caused is when you don't use it.
I know. I used to use it,
Yeah.
but I shut it off.
Yeah. Don't do that.
I'm leaving here, it just kind of validates what I already think. It takes it to a different, explains it in a different way, but it just kind of validates what I already think.
I'm leaving here with the continued love of orgasm.
I'm leaving here with great connection, especially when we did the desire. I got to know him as a person, what's his thinking, his desire, what's deep inside within.
More of an insight into orgasm.
I'm leaving here with plans to have some fun tonight.
Ditto on all of it. You know, of joy, energy.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring Eli up. We're gonna put some chairs up here, and then I figure for about, so we'll.
I gotta know.
This group?
Or not. Any questions on anything? Yeah, Ron?
What do you actually do when you have sessions or in the practice when people come to you?
That's a good question. So there's three main ways that someone can access the work through OneTaste. They can access it online and do it in the privacy of their own room. They can do it through classes and retreat weekends for couples, singles, men and women. And we do private coaching. Private coaching is a little bit more unique than classes in that we usually set up what's called an exploratory session with someone. It's 90 minutes, it's free of charge, and we do an excavation of your desire. So in that 90 minutes, we find out what you're looking to achieve or resolve through the process, what the evidence will be to let you know that you've achieved it. So what would you be seeing, hearing, feeling, and experiencing 6 months after your coaching package ends, and what's blocking you. After that, we go over the OneTaste method of coaching, what we do and how we do it, and then we make you an offer, which you either say yes or no to.
We would make that offer after today, since you're supposed to be saying no.
Anyone else? Yeah.
How did you come up with the name OneTaste?
OneTaste came from a Ken Wilber quote, which is
Just as the ocean has one taste, the taste of salt, so does the taste of liberation. And once you've had one taste, nothing else will do it.
So I noticed on your guys' website you only have dates that are out there for, is that how your program normally runs, or can you go throughout the year? Because I only saw a couple dates on it, so
Yeah.
I checked out the
Yeah, so it happens two ways. So the courses are set at specific dates and specific times throughout the year. Private coaching is ongoing. So you could meet once a week, you could meet twice a month, you could meet once a month, depending on what feels best for you and what works with your schedule and the coach's schedule.
So do you usually get women dragging men in there?
No.
Really?
Yeah, so
I know, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
So it happens a few ways.
Yeah.
We have men that come in that are like, I don't know how to handle my woman. What do I do? We get men that come in that are totally confused in terms of what to do when they get in their presence of a woman. And they may have taken some classes, they may not, they may have read some books, they may not, but they feel totally confronted and confounded, and they're embarrassed to admit it. We have women coming in chanting what our founder calls the Western woman's mantra, which is, I feel too much, I'm too intense, I work too much, I shop too much, I eat too much, I give too much, I have this sense that something's missing and I don't know what it is. We have couples that come in, we actually have couples that come in that have great relationships and are looking to go from good to better, or, fantastic to amazing. Then we get couples in that have been together for a period of time. They have kids. One or both has a full-time job and the spark is dim and they don't know what to do.
The guy behind the camera has a comment. Yeah, I know. Everybody's waiting. Yeah, you want to hear this, don't you?
Can we turn that camera around and get you on camera?
No, that's okay. I'm recording. The biggest thing to me in my past relationships, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here. I am currently single, by the way. I'm running this organization here. It's a lot of...
Thank you, Sean.
Hey, I am single. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. Okay, he's going to record me saying this, but mental stimulation is the biggest factor to me for attraction, to want to be with somebody in that way in a relationship. And I'm a big relationship type of guy, even though I may not appear to be, I am. And so, to me, it doesn't matter how beautiful a lady is or how well she knows what she's doing or how well I know what I'm doing. If I'm not mentally stimulated, I don't have any desire to want to even go there. That's what are your thoughts about that?
You sound pretty healthy.
I sound pretty normal, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's sort of what Rachel was talking about. Like, that sounds like a situation of like good to great. We're fond of saying like turn on is kind of a head job. Like it's a lot about getting the body and the mind, to connect on some level of woo-woo and this orgasm thing we talk about. But it's a lot of how you think about things. And I really think if all the ladies in the room are listening, that's a really authentic man who's willing to say that he's interested in what's up here and who you are under how you appear.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're all right.
Thanks. We'll talk afterwards.
I have two questions. One is about the background of the people who work at OneTaste. And secondly, I was wondering, like, if some of us, very healthy people and some of us a little bit unhealthy people, if they got together, if they can get group discount or group class,
Does health insurance cover this? Yeah. No.
If we got 5 or 10 misfits together.
Can I clarify what I heard you say so that I make sure I heard you?
Go ahead.
No, she's asking for clarification.
She said, can I verify? She can.
Oh.
So, when you ask for the background, do you want to hear a little bit about each of us? Is that what you're asking for?
I mean, as a business owner, it's up to you. Whose information you want to disclose, or if you want to explain the general criteria you have for people who work with you, or yourself, up to you.
Okay. I'll do both. And then, can you repeat the second question?
He's looking for a group discount.
Oh, you can have it.
No hesitation.
So, OneTaste was founded 8 years ago by Nicole Dado, who has spent, so her background is in semantics and gender communication from SF State. She actually graduated from SF State, did a graduate degree, and then was teaching at SF State when the world of sexuality opened up for her. And then she spent 15 years studying semantics, gender communications, Kabbalah, Zen Buddhism, and what then was called an extended orgasmic practice. And the quote came from, in her first experience in orgasmic meditation, she tasted something so deep and true that she knew she needed to bring it to the world, which is how the three of us came to be sitting here. So the staff at OneTaste comes from a pretty wide background. Just the three of us alone, there's a staff of 15 of us. We're like a startup in a way. So Eli has a background in Zen Buddhism and he's a computer guy. He worked at Apple for many years.
5.5 years.
My background is in chemical dependency counseling. I was an Orthodox Jew for 5 years, and then was Catholic, and then was Buddhist, and then got into yoga, and then I found my way into orgasm. And then Carol, also her background is in psychology.
And I'm also a holistic health counselor and a body worker.
So we have people that have business backgrounds, marketing backgrounds. We have quite a few people on staff who have serious meditation, Buddhist meditation backgrounds that studied and practiced it for 15 years. One of our senior faculty members did meditation training through Spirit Rock, which is very close with Jen Cornfield. The co-founder, Robert Kandel, has a graduate degree from Drexel in biomedical engineering. The thing that brings us all together is that each of us at some point in our journey, and I'm not going to even call it a spiritual journey because for some of us it wasn't, but in some time in our journey to be a fully actualized human being, we felt something, and the thing that we felt is what we call orgasm. And so we all, we're like misfit toys. Like if you saw a sort of pretty ragtag crew, and we come from very different places in the country and in the world, and religious backgrounds, and the way we grew up, and we have this common desire to bring orgasm back into the world conversation and back into our body. Yeah.
Stranger off-topic questions, but is the orgasmic, the slow sex technique, is it suitable for, the addiction to the male form of the orgasm, or the masculine form of the orgasm, where, you read a lot about reports nowadays, where, people are just triggered by the brain, masculinization.
Yes. Yeah, the simple one-word answer is yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes, and yes. Totally yes. I'm actually, if you guys are interested, I'll be giving a talk in Oakland at the end of the month on the 30th at a sex shop called Feel More 510. And we'll be doing a talk on the male perspective on female orgasm, which addresses just this very question. And why it would be beneficial to cultivate such a thing in one's life with one's partner. So,
Eli.
Yeah.
What was the question?
If you could like treat clinical sex addiction,
Oh, got it.
kind of with
Not in, you're not going to find this in any clinics.
right.
Right.
Yeah, obviously.
Right. But I've worked with clients who have porn addictions. What this practice does for people, like Rachel said, is it helps to resensitize. And when someone is used to the places in the brain, the reward center is firing off in a way which is very disconnected and visual, very based on what looks appealing as opposed to what feels appealing. Like you put a porn addict down in front of an actual woman, doesn't feel a whole lot. Put them down in front of a computer, all of a sudden the brain starts moving. there's something going on there which those individuals sometimes want to try to, get back to another state.
Right.
So yes, absolutely, this will help men to actually feel what's directly in front of them.
So we talked a lot about the sensory and the different perceptions or different understanding now of what orgasm is. Do you, at your facility in your course, do you actually do the physical
Yes.
climax part?
We
teach that part as well.
Yeah, so we teach the practice of orgasmic meditation, and climax is not the goal. So have you done yoga before or meditated? So in yoga, the only thing there is to do is stretch your body to its limit and actually ease into it in a sustainable fashion. The same is true of orgasm. And the same is true of orgasmic meditation in the sense that incrementally over time, you're expanding the bandwidth for the amount of sensation you can hold in your body for a man or a woman. So climax becomes, it's funny, I was just saying this to Sean, that climax becomes one location that happens in orgasm. And once you get a taste of what's possible, climax is like a sneeze that can happen in the middle of a really incredible sex act.
So if all of this sounds like a total paradigm shift, it is. That is absolutely what we are saying. This is a total paradigm shift from everything we've been taught and from a lot of the things that that have been handed to us from folks who probably got things handed to them. I always wondered. I always thought there was something interesting about why is it that women don't climax nearly as often as men on the whole? That's been my experience as a man. Why is that? And it seems to me that there's two different ways you can go on that question. One, women are broken. That's one way you can look at it, is that the way that women experience orgasm, and that they don't climax as often as men do, is some sign of deficiency or malfunction. That's one way. That's the way the pharmaceutical company would like to be looking at it right now, creating the female Viagra, right? So that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it, radical notion, women's bodies work exactly as designed. So once you adopt a definition of orgasm, which actually works with the way a woman's body actually works, as opposed to trying to stuff her body into an ill-fitting definition, this thing that Rachel keeps hinting at all of a sudden becomes possible. All of a sudden this thing which was your biggest problem in sex, all of a sudden becomes this thing which can be potentiated to these, gestures only do it justice. So, is that making sense? Is that landing? It's a total reframe of this thing which, for a lot of men, including myself, was always something that I felt really on the hook about. That it's not only is this something which is difficult, but it's my job to make it happen. Now I'm okay, so if climax is off the table as a goal, and the only thing to do is to feel as much as possible, I can work with that.
Did you have something?
I have a question on the orgasmic meditation. How is it similar or different from a regular meditation? And secondly, does it help cure what I would think of as instrumental and mental deficiency in terms of men's ability to climax? Because when you talk about the women's body and it takes a certain time to climax, right? It seems like keeping this in mind, men are in a certain place, instrumentally speaking, right? So it seems like mentally, if they work together in a different stage, then it can help them match women's physical needs, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a short answer, and then if you want to talk more about this, we'll be around after. So the first is...
I was telling Christy that our appointment is cancelled.
I love you.
Yes, I'm here for you, girl.
Good questions.
Yeah.
Great questions.
The first is, it's akin to meditation practices. So the same components that are in place in meditation, goallessness, mindfulness, attention to sensation, are true in orgasmic meditation. The main difference is that you as the stroker, you're taking your left index finger, which actually is the part of your body that has the finest motor control. It's why we use the finger and not the tongue, right? Because over time you can strengthen and train these muscles to get in a pretty tiny spot. You're taking that part of your body and you're connecting it to the most sensitive spot on the human body for a man or a woman, because there's 8,000 nerve endings in the clitoris alone. In the upper left-hand quadrant of the clitoris is the most concentration of nerve endings, which is where you're sliding your finger up to, right? And then the only thing you're doing for 15 minutes is feeling. So, so you're stroking your finger up, down, like a metronome with, if you guys touch above your eye, so about as much pressure as you would use to touch above your eye, which isn't that much, that's how much pressure you would use to stroke the clitoris. Okay. There's many things that men get out of stroking. I'm going to give you 3, okay? The first is you learn how to slow down and cultivate attention. Because your focus is on her pussy, it isn't on her face, and it isn't on how loudly she's moaning. Because her genitals are going to give you all of the cues you need in terms of what's happening. That's the first. The second is that in the tip of your finger, you can actually feel, so I'm not even talking from like a weird new agey metaphysical level, I'm actually talking about physical sensation. When you lay your finger down on that spot, it's as if you plugged your finger into a light socket. So you begin to sense and feel her orgasm, first in the tip of your finger, and then eventually in your entire body. That alone changes a man's perspective on what orgasm means. The third is that after years and years of practice, you learn how to play her body like an instrument. So I think we'll end, yeah.
One more question.
Okay, last one.
Not me, but if anybody has one more question, we have time for one more question.
On the way to thank you for spending your time and sharing your information. What can I do to help you with your practice, or what do you need to move forward in your business?
Thank you. First, thank you for the offer. And the second is, I would love it if you would share with people that you're close to or people that you're connected to about your experience here today and how it changed you. That really, it's funny in a way. It's like, so I'll actually just share an unbelievable piece of good news, which is Nicole Leadon, who's the founder of OneTaste, just got asked to teach with Tony Robbins. Do you guys know who Tony Robbins is? Yeah. So she got asked to teach with Tony Robbins, who is like elite A-list clientele in Mexico. So orgasms hit the big time. And at the same time, the connection happens in one-on-one conversation. Where, so I know for me, if someone actually did come to me and say, hey, I learned about this practice and it changed my life, and this is how it changed my life, and I felt them enough that I got in my car and drove cross country to check out what they were doing, that's the way I can say that you can help us further our business, is by sharing your experience with the people in your life.
Hey, Eli, you're on Facebook, right?
I am.
Connect with us on Facebook, Eric, myself, and we'll get you in the group page. Can you post that event in our group page?
Totally.
You have all the links and everything? We want to know everything you guys are doing, ladies are doing.
We'll do it.
Right?
Yeah.
I think what it means is that we wanna know all, what
That's what the
all
groupie's there for.
speak and all that, engage.
Okay.
We'll do it, we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
You can have it.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. Thank
Big
you.
round of applause!
Come on, I think you can all be a little bit louder than that. Come on.
Yeah! Woo!